spend a whole lot of time on it. But I am kind of curious to see the reduction in size in the project on the ground. So we'll do a little bit of walking around to do that. Sir?
I'm Dan Monks, Assistant Town Manager, Town Bennington.
Laura Block, intervener on behalf of Apple Hill Association.
John Brabant, Vermonters for a Clean Environment.
Tim Getty, resident realtor.
Bill Knight, I live up there, and I'm the president of the Homeowners Association.
Libby Harris, intervener.
Jacob Clark, I'm an attorney with the Department of Public Service.
Rip Kirby, I'm an engineer with the Department of Public Service.
Dory Barton with Arrowwood Environmental, working with the petitioner.
I'm Brad Wilson with the petitioner.
Joe Schoenig, Libby Harris.
And we'll give Don another 4 or 5 minutes. He'll see us when he gets here, I'm sure.
Got their postage signs up. So who posted the property, Malone?
They did, of course. 2 days after Joe's pre-trial testimony went in, these guys showed up and they put all the postage on.
But it's only posted against hunting, fishing, and traffic in motorized vehicles. You can still walk on it.
Is that what it says?
Well, it doesn't
It
say.
was never registered.
Doesn't say no trespassing?
It says no trespassing for those purposes.
Oh, okay. Right. So it's limited.
That's how I read it. It says hunting, fishing, and traveling motorized.
That's like so this red flag here is essentially the northeastern corner of the clearing flag. Pretty thick. But it's not the growing season either, so it's easier now than it would be in July.
Brad, so right here.
Exactly. We're oriented this way. Yep. We're in that corner. Yep. We're right at that corner right there. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. So everything north of here would be a retained corner.
So this is basically where it goes. That way.
Saying that all of these trees would stay up?
North of this, that's correct.
What about along this line here? What stays and what goes?
I believe everything along the line is cleared.
Up to where the grass is. Right?
I believe that's correct.
There's no, in other words, there's not going to be a vegetative margin.
The site plan is currently designed does not retain vegetation along the eastern project boundary. Correct.
So it's all going to be just solar panels.
Well, no, but this vegetation that we're looking at right here will be cleared.
So why aren't you maintaining a line of vegetation here? Tree line?
That's how the project was designed, and it's what is shown in our materials.
Yeah, I get that, but is there a logic behind that?
Well, you have to clear a certain amount of land to be able to build the project, and that's where the land for the project is located.
In order for the solar to get to, in order for the sun to get to the panels?
Yeah, I think so.
The clearance?
Well, yeah, you have to clear a certain amount of acres to have the land that you need to build the project.
Yeah.
We've identified this area as those acres to clear.
So you identified it as the property line. This is a separate.
Isn't that's south there, isn't it?
That's south.
So why do they need to clear this line?
Right.
So, the owner can cut down anything he wants, but it shouldn't be.
I think the materials we've submitted, the site plans, the testimony, the analysis, none of those materials assume there would be any vegetation retained along the eastern boundary of the project.
Yes, but you've added mitigation to the west because of the highways, but you've exposed this entire neighborhood more by taking everything down here.
Is there a question?
Is that correct?
I believe the site plan clearly shows, and again, I just stated, the materials in the case do not assume any retained vegetation along the eastern project boundary. And
So if you,
that's always been the case.
right, so that's what you submitted, but as mitigation, could you leave these trees up without it affecting the project?
The mitigation that we've designed.
No. I'm talking about this. It would be mitigative to leave this up. Is that not that the project can't happen with that?
John, I think
It's a legitimate question.
John,
This is
I think
standard.
the scenario we're at today is to talk about the facts that are on the record for the case, not about could you do this, could you do that. We'd be happy to entertain. We'd love to have some discussions with you about some of your thoughts and ideas and conversations. We've been trying to set something like that up for years.
Okay.
I don't think that this site visit is the right forum for those types of
Okay.
discussions.
All right.
I'm happy to answer questions about the facts of the project and
Good.
But-
Okay. That's
all right.
good. That's clear. That's
Thanks.
clear. Okay.
I'm gonna follow these folks.
Okay.
Here and gnarly.
Quick question, but I'm seeing the map here. I'm guessing this corner is that corner I see down there, roughly.
Yeah, where it takes a jump.
So the field would go just 20 or 30 feet beyond that point. You know, sort of
Correct.
from here to here. Okay.
But it is important to note this is the area proposed for the Apple Hill project.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
So this will be
Okay.
all panels.
If
when
both projects
if both
are
projects are
constructed.
affirmative.
This is where we're sitting.
Okay. So the edge of the Apple Hill project would be those trees now.
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
AOT used to do this. They called it segmented review. They got her on the EIS process doing this. Yeah. They used to do that. There's a federal environmental impact study requirement if you build an interstate. So they would build segments just under the length that would trigger.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly.
And that's what this
I will warn you.
is very much like.
That's why we divided into two.
I used to go hunting, but not anymore.
You got the wobble going on?
Yeah. I had some back trouble.
Oh, that's not
And
good.
had a
Yeah.
couple operations,
Yeah.
and now I'm not.
You don't want to goof it up again,
My left
right?
leg's a little numb, a little goofy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good at it,
Yeah. Yeah, right, I know. Everything's flat on a map.
You know, they say Vermont, if you ironed it out, it's as big as Texas.
I never heard that. So this must be a boundary line, more or less, this flag line, the northern boundary
I don't know. I don't know what.
of the project.
All the
Yeah.
flags. Yeah, I think it's more or less. We're walking this, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we're walking. These orange flags mark the northern clearing boundary.
Okay.
Bill, where's Rick today? He's in Belgium.
Is he really?
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to fly out yesterday, but they didn't get out till today because of the wind yesterday.
Well, he's always suggested we flag the boundaries, and I thought that was a good idea, and I was kind of looking forward to showing off to him.
Yeah, he's gone.
But yeah, we'll continue just right along the clearing boundary here. Summertime, I don't think we've been making any progress. Up the hill.
Got it.
You know if David showed up?
No idea.
So is there a borehole back there?
Yeah, there are a few of those around.
Okay.
Absolutely. For geotechnical analysis.
Yeah.
How many acres is the site? Like 25-ish?
27.
27? Okay.
Yep, roughly.
What do they pay for this piece of land, do you know?
Well, where's the sub going to be?
The what?
Substation.
It's a small enough project that doesn't need a substation. There'll be a small equipment skid, and it'll actually be located almost directly south of where we're standing, down towards the southern boundary of the project.
Maybe I shouldn't have said it's sub, but there's going to be a transformer.
Transformer, exactly. Yep.
Where's that going to be?
So
Over
if
our party?
we're here, yeah, right here, we're standing right here.
Okay, yeah. And that's where the inverters will go
What
to?
happened to Libby?
If they're central inverters, yes.
Libby's not joining
If they're string inverters, those will be distributed throughout the array.
Are the two projects going to have separate transformers?
Yes, they will.
Hey, wait a second. Where's the hearing officer? They're ahead of us?
Over that way, yep.
Oh, okay. We're slowing down the train. All right.
Pardon? No.
I think we're getting real close to the northwestern corner, where the clearing boundary then heads south. Here it is. So this location here
Yeah,
is
okay.
the northwestern corner of the clearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look. So now we're standing right here.
What markings tell you that? You hear the highway. It's
The orange flags.
Oh, okay.
You see how they start now to head?
Oh, okay. Now they're
Head south.
veering this. Okay, I
Yep.
got you.
Absolutely. And so everything on that side of the orange flags is going to be retained, not cleared.
Right there. In that corner.
So we can just head down the line.
That's close.
Yep.
There, over there is the orange.
So this is the proposed, two things come up through here, off of Willow Road. This would be the maintenance driveway.
Yep.
And the tie to the grid interconnection.
Okay, and is that an underground tie or?
Currently it's proposed as overhead, I believe.
And it's 12.5 kV?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And for construction purposes, you're going to use the maintenance driveway to access,
Yeah,
install everything?
Willow Road is proposed for construction and clearing and decommissioning access as well, and if the day comes.
So everything, construction and maintenance, you're saying that everything was
That's the main proposal. An alternate proposal was filed that proposes operations and maintenance access off of Apple Hill Road through the Orchard property if it's necessary to do so.
So that would mean building a road through the orchard?
Not necessarily. We think for very light operations and maintenance traffic, the construction of a road would not be necessary.
I didn't hear what you said, but you're going to have to improve that road a little bit, aren't you?
Willow Road may require some repairs.
Well, that's coming off of Willow there, isn't it?
Oh, this is Willow Road.
Yeah, but it's not a
What's that? This is still a public road.
I know that, but it doesn't really, it's a road of stones.
Yeah, this is what I call, Willow Road goes like this, doesn't it?
It does, but then it also comes up here and ends at the property.
Yeah, this is kind of like a lane or something, right?
It's not a concrete road.
Right.
It's what they call a Class 4 public road.
Yeah.
So you have a permit from the select board yet for the class 4 upgrade? Do they?
I don't know if a permit's required for repair. I wouldn't call it an upgrade. It would be, we might need to do some repairs.
to work on a town road, you usually need permission from the town in the state of Vermont. So every other town does. So I'm guessing Bennington would as well.
All right, I'll keep moving. I'm at the hearing officer ahead of us, but I'm sure we'll catch up with him.
Watch your step. Wouldn't think to go to the town to get permission to fix their road. Watch the borehole. So they're likely checking for depth of groundwater and the ability to pound posts.
That's what they made up
And be able to put their posts in. Pretty sandy material here.
No, that was geotechnical analysis. So trying to figure out what the soil's made of, what the soil can support. So for designing, how to install the foundations for the solar modules, things like that. Get information about the soil. How deep is it? What's it made of?
So do you put concrete sonotubes in, or you just pound posts in? What do you do?
Well, the preferred method would be just direct driven. And that's what's reflected. However, in the event you encounter, like a boulder or something, they do what's called drill and fill. It's not a sonotube really, but there is some material.
A footing. You put a footing in. Okay.
Soil. Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of headed a little bit more towards the interior in this direction, but we'll end up at the location of the equipment pad. river goes off in that direction, and then comes this way here.
Where's this corner? Where is that?
This corner right
up
here.
there?
We are standing right at the.
Well, okay, I'm a little confused by that because I'm still seeing ribbons that way.
Correct. That's these flags going up, this direction.
Okay, so we're at that
flags
corner.
going up off of that corner this way. I guess I do.
See some orange
Okay, all right, I
that
see
way.
him. I see him.
Yep.
Okay.
So heading just a little bit further south.
Yeah, okay. So this is a corner in here somewhere, huh?
Yeah, we're basically here.
Are we going to walk the path for the road?
We sure can.
Well, okay.
I think the hearing officer would do.
Are these red maple or sugar maple? Sugar maple.
Don? Oh, there he is. Right on this location here is where the equipment pad would be located, where the transformer would be located.
So you're saying it doesn't go in here, it's more like here.
Correct. Right there with the crosshairs is, so we're right here. Is where that equipment pad is.
So if we keep going this way, we should hit the path, right?
Correct.
I'm sure it doesn't look much of a path now.
No.
Is it staked or?
It's partially staked. I think they ran out of time today. They were down here to stake it entirely, but I do have the GPS that can help us stick to the trail.
Okay.
Is that David?
Yes.
Who's everyone wearing gear? Expecting the snow or something?
Well, thank you for coming down.
I thought we might have
Is this new four for you at this stage?
At least 2 or 3, I guess.
Fantastic. Brad Wilson.
Hi, David Raphael, working at the Pepper Department. Nice to meet you.
We were just discussing, we're standing in the location where the equipment skid for the project would be. We've been keeping our eyes out for these orange flags. We had a surveyor come out and put orange flags along the boundaries of the clearing for the project.
Perfect.
I think as we travel down the driveway corridor, once we get towards the southern property line, the orange flags are going to run out. They had to wrap it up for the day. But we're getting close. And I think that's the intent, is to continue on down the
So
the path
again,
of
where's the
driveway.
hearing officer? He's supposed to be here to witness this conversation, and he's absent.
My understanding is the hearing officer is here to witness the site for himself.
Oh, is that right?
It's not
Where did
necessarily
Joe
Not your description of it?
that's my understanding of it.
Okay.
I'm not, I certainly don't control the process.
Okay.
Could you orient me? I don't have a map. I don't have my map, so I'd just like to know exactly so I can. Right there. Okay.
So I think so I would say north is this direction. And we are at location 3.
Oh, there they are down there.
I had issues.
He's walking with really inappropriate. He's walking. They're biologists and not the rest of the group.
Okay.
Which you came into.
Yeah. Right.
And you can see the highway right in front of you.
You can if you're watching.
You can see, I believe that's Route 7 that you can see.
How do you prevent ex parte conversation when you're not with all the parties?
Are you going out to this far?
We walked in along here and then came south and kind of. Nope, no problem. You're free to make use of the property.
I've seen it on the map.
Oh, Jay, did you guys go all the way to back?
Okay.
So what did we miss in discussion over there? Anything?
We talked about ticks.
Okay.
We kept ourselves oriented. We really just
Okay, I'm
walking
just
the trail.
trying to make sure we're kept
What'd we miss?
abreast of what. Well, right, you guys missed a lot too, so I'm just wondering.
Were the
No,
orange flags
Showing an
helpful?
elevation.
Oh, the flags were
absolutely.
great.
We'll try to do that again in the
Yeah, that was a
future.
good idea.
Which is approximately
That's all we
the
did is
same
we
height.
walked.
And
Yep.
the view of Bennington Monument Golf Course that can be seen.
Where are we in? So is the potential new gate over here?
Yeah, I can show you there. So let me just show you real quick on the map exactly where we're at. So we're staying almost at the equipment pad location.
You can almost do a perpendicular.
Yeah, pretty much right that way.
Okay, I see.
We just
I see
got
the
to jog
flags.
north of the.
Yeah, I
of
see
the
where the
orange
flags
flag.
are now. Okay. I'm going to continue my trek around the edges.
Okay.
Are you guys still going this
Well-
way, or are we going to convene and...
Pleasure of the group. Would you like to continue down the driveway corridor, or I'm open to where the group would like to go.
If you went to the top part of it, there's really nothing magical about
Well, I was just thinking that if parties are going to be walking with the hearing officer, all parties should be, rather than just some. I don't know if that's appropriate, personally.
It's not evidentiary area. I'm not really talking to anybody, so it's not really a much
Okay.
I know that many of the neighbors are fairly familiar with the lay of the property. So I might start with A&R department, town. Any thoughts on where from here you'd like to go? Continue down the driveway.
Did the hearing officer say he'd like to see the area where the adjoining gate that you...
I think he's headed in that direction. Yes.
Are we going to then
Should we
better see the
stay?
road when we drive? I think people see the road.
I mean, that's certainly something that, you certainly can do that. I think we're going to be running pretty short on time. The public hearing begins at 6.
Right.
It's 4:45.
Well, why don't we head back to where the proposed adjoining gate is and find out more about that?
Does that work for everyone?
Is that okay?
Okay.
the Welcome Center is right over here.
Yeah, I'd say that direction right there. Yeah. All right. Well,
So this is the next project over here?
the Apple Hill footprint is proposed in that area right there.
Over here.
Correct.
So this would all be cleared, everything, eventually?
If both projects
were
proceeded, yes.
permitted? Okay. All right.
All right. Well, we better move.
Okay.
Did we agree with the hearing officer?
No, it wasn't with him at all.
Totally inappropriate. That's totally inappropriate. I don't care what he says. It's like a Boy Scout troop.
collect into a smaller number of vehicles for that.
Yeah, we're within walking proximity now, I guess.
We really are. We can get down to that area pretty easy. There's actually an old road of some kind that goes right down. You know?
To where?
Right.
Past that station. We got to go that way. Yeah, maybe let's do that. I think we'll get there soon.
Let everyone catch up and then tell everyone here what your plan is, where we're headed.
Yeah.
Please. Just walk the route as much as we could.
So we're going to
started here.
There's a path,
And we did this.
it's actually
up to
within
here.
the half-
No,
Didn't do that part.
we started here.
We're right here. We're in this
Oh,
corner.
I'm sorry.
We're in this corner right here.
Right, so what it would be good to do would be to walk right now where I hired here is to go back over to approximately where the equipment pad is and then walk down.
That's right.
The equipment pads.
Is this area here.
Okay.
See the highway from here? Everybody? Anybody? Anybody want to take notice? You can see the highway from here through the trees.
Yeah.
It does look like they have it on the tag now.
Yep. I'm gonna take all these trees down. They're gonna use all the buffer from the highway.
Okay. You have a choice. You can either. There is some value to see where
It's good for the planet. That's why they're doing it, right?
I might go this way just to see the path and beach it down.
Well, maybe let I think the group you're supposed to go whichever way they'd like to go in the hearing officer is going to go down towards the entrance to the property, and there's a couple ways you can go. You can go away through a little bit more vegetation. There's an easier path that way. People can go whichever way they'd like to.
So he mentioned a conservation area or something? Did I hear him say? The hearing officer say?
No, I think that was me. There's a plant conservation area that's been denoted on the site plan.
Oh, I see.
So he's going out above the business center.
What's that?
He's planning on going out above the business
Yeah, he's coming out right at the point where Willow Road is. That's what I thought.
Didn't you say the flags end before he gets there, though?
Well, I think on one side. I think they got all the way down. Because they sent me a map that showed along that road. You know, if you missed the flag. In the first one? Yeah. Right. Probably does. You look at the wood flag.
This is the other project site. All these woods are gone, right? Yeah, all hardwoods. Yeah, yeah. Are these sugar maples or red maples? Look like sugar maples. The bark. It's so young, it's hard to tell. That's a sugar bush, future sugar bush, if they are red. And this was all part of that property, that 27 acres that guy owned?
Yeah, this is what they bought, and this is what they're going to
This is, I've seen this so many times. Had you known, the whole neighborhood could have pitched in 3,000 each and you would have stopped it.
This was for sale.
Oh, really?
You know, the only thing that we knew, I mean, Libby was hating herself, she sold the orchard across from her.
Yeah.
But that was somebody else who sold it to them.
Right.
But we didn't know who owns this property or why.
Yep.
I mean, in fact, you can't do much with it.
Really? Well-drained sandy soil. You could put houses all over this.
Well, but it's rural conservation district.
So what's the zone? What's it zoned for then?
You could put in houses very wide.
Right. What does rural conservation district mean in this town?
It means you're supposed to protect the land from drought and minimize vegetation clearing.
What?
Yes.
Was that
in
this?
the town plan.
Was that in the
That's
town
what-
plan before they proposed this project?
Oh yeah. But the town
And the town's position, this is minimal clearing. They agree with that interpretation?
I don't agree with that for Chelsea. Because they didn't even do it for Apple Hill.
That's Apple Hill. This is Chelsea.
I don't really know.
This is the other one.
This is Apple Hill.
Okay. So they agree with it?
I think. You can see it on your
So
map.
Apple Hill, they don't want to see the woods cleared.
No, vice versa. Apple Hill, they don't care. If they did object, then they did.
Because they drew a line through it somehow, and somehow it's different?
Yeah. It's all the same district. It's all rural conservation. And it couldn't be here. Either one could be here. So we're left defending the town plan. But the town won't.
The town won't. Great. That's what you pay taxes for.
Yeah.
And you're here first. They come in, elbows out, barging through the door. We can talk to her. Makeup.
No, he doesn't. Yep. He was I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah, that's a big always right behind them. Well, not right behind them, but in that direction. This is Willow Road. Yep, so we're standing on public road right now. This is the property line, and here's where that corridor begins.
road right here?
Yep.
There's the Welcome Center.
So this will be viewable from the Welcome Center, you
You
say?
can view the solar panel from the Welcome Center.
Ah, welcome to Vermont.
Welcome.
That would be
So far, it
great.
looks just like dirt.
That's what people come here for, right?
It might not be a good
Joe,
stand up for a visual check.
see if the
Oh, there's one.
Holy I got them all over me.
What's that?
Ticks. What the heck?
Watch, the one person who would walk through the process is the guy that
I was moving more quickly.
stayed on. No?
I had one earlier.
Yeah, I've already had lime. I don't want it again. Jeez, they're all over the place here.
Like bounce too. They don't look like peppermint oil and lemon.
I've had line too.
Bad stuff.
Yes, it is. I don't know if you ever get rid of it.
Yeah, if you catch it early. I caught it early.
I think that they like my fabric.
Yep. That one there looks like one. They're kind of red looking, these ticks. Yep, the little ones, the deer ticks. You did? bad.
Notice every time I walk out with
Vacation here.
lights.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
Maybe that's why the gators are on for some people.
Yep.
Well, here we are.
What we're wanting to point out here is
Any questions while we're here?
from the Welcome Center.
The RTE planetarium is over here, the conservation area.
That's right.
So will this be viewable from the Welcome Center? The development?
The solar?
Yes.
No, we don't do so. There's
That's the height of the fence.
yeah.
There's going to be
And
a
the
fence
will be
here?
located over 250 feet that way, behind all this vegetation.
So will the other development be?
That's the same story.
No, you're
Okay.
on the access road.
That's the southern border of the property.
So is this path pretty clear going back up to the stone fence?
Yes.
That's where you guys got all the ticks.
Joe, where's the country
It's
club?
down there quite a ways.
The country club is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see the sand on. See if there's the sand trap.
Yeah, right.
I just meant Apple Hill.
Oh, you're talking about Apple Hill?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's why I was saying that's probably
Their
not where the
whole
fence
golf
would be
course,
on.
basically.
Yeah. They're up high. Right there, that sand trap, you can see the
Yeah.
800 feet. Is the elevation there. Elevation of Libby's house is 800 feet. The lowest point is 600 feet at the golf course.
You know what the lateral distance is from the sand trap to Libby's house? Roughly 6,000 feet. That would have been my guess.
Tell me where the north is on this. I'm still confused about this one. So the north is basically right in here, right? That's north. Right.
Comes up there.
That's the order.
How you doing? Good,
What bothers me is I don't see a reason that way. I just pick them up.
Yeah, look at that. Where the insulated is. I think that helped keep the ticks off. Smell them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great thing part of it. Because otherwise, you're too far from the cars.
On some levels.
That was the original intention, was to drive to Royal Road.
Yeah. Because I think
Only 5 feet.
So, I mean, we have some views of things in that direction.
As to where the turnaround is.
Yeah, so we are standing on Willow Road, it's a public road. Yep. And then you're like this. We jog it. Originally, we had more of a straight beginning and then 90-degree turn. The town asked if we consider more of a diagonal to improve the screen. Yeah, and we said, yeah, sure. So for Apple Hill, yeah, no problem. For Apple Hill, I've got it. It follows the same type of. Oh, okay. It'll come up right in back. So those are the main access.
Stuff that's, they have an easement around.
Have they been given sufficient
Yeah, I don't know if there's been any permissions for anything.
One direction would like people to look in here. That way, understand.
But I'm confused about what the steps that have to be gone through for any project. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one. Do they need certain road permissions first before they can then proceed to apply for the rest of the parts of the project?
It's the developer's responsibility to secure all local transportation-related permits and to acknowledge it in their, if they're appropriate.
And that took out about
So
another
they have to get that
25.
prior to
If
the
in fact that's
application.
required. Now, I don't know if it's required before application. It's required at the time that, generally, that they're required to have those permissions necessary at the time construction begins. So they have to make an assurance to the commission that at the time construction begins, they have all their local permits.
But having those permits is not
A criterion for getting permissions through for the CPG? In other words, they could get the CPG permits
Easiest way to
as
do that.
long as by the time construction starts.
It's a conditional permit.
It's a condition upon getting them.
Right, they can't start construction until they have it.
Okay, got it.
NWI maps that we navigate the compass.
Okay,
Did you hit back?
Back then, I have to say, now that we have this technology.
So I have a question. There's this is about the CPG process. In Act 250, you need to have whenever there's a permit or a set of permits that would be required from the Agency of Natural Resources, for instance. Those form rebuttable presumptions that they meet certain criteria. Do you require that those permits be in place for the CPG process or as part of the CPG process and prior to issuing the CPG? The A&R permits that form the...
responsible for letting the commission know as part of the CPG process. And this may be a question asked down Reinhardt, that all relevant A&R permits have either been applied for or will be achieved prior to construction.
But
That business generally, well, it varies. Sometimes they have them done, sometimes they don't. If they don't have them done, then they're conditional. And A&R tells us what the status is at the time the CPG is issued.
so you do not have to have a permit in hand to meet a presumption of compliance under any of those Act 250 criteria that you're
I
supposed
don't know that I would say
that you're supposed to apply.
Yes.
You're supposed to be considering those criteria, and you don't necessarily require a permit be in place at the time of the hearing to meet that presumption.
We require an assurance from A&R that it's available and that it's been applied for.
And if they're denied that permit,
If there isn't one at the time of the construction can't begin.
and if A&R denies that permit, then the construction cannot be
That's correct.
commenced.
So generally the developer has to sort of get an A&R blessing first, which can mean either solid permits, but this is again a better question to ask now.
Well, I'm asking about your process. I know how I worked at A&R 25. I know how that process works, but I'm wondering...
John is the guy who tells us whether or not permits are required and they've been filed for and will or have been achieved.
Right, no, that wasn't the nature of my question. If there's one permit everyone acknowledges is required, my question is, does it need to be in hand at the time of the hearing and prior to a CPG being issued?
That's true. That's the hypothetical question. I kind of heard what you're talking about.
A wetlands CUD,
I don't know what that is.
conditional use determination.
Yes, generally those are filed as part of the CPG process.
In final form.
Well, they are provided to us. We get an assurance from A&R that those things have been achieved.
Okay. So then you make the finding that this meets that criterion or sub-criterion because they have the permit which forms the presumption.
That isn't the only basis upon which we make a finding. It is treated as evidence of a finding.
Okay, right. Okay. Slightly different than Act 250.
It'll be along almost 3 lines up north. It'll be like 10 feet west. Those would be the
grass?
grass.
Yes. On the east side, you said that was always planned to put the trees on this portion of the wall planning on coming down to.
Well, none of these trees are proposed for removal for Chelsea. I'd really like to keep the discussion focused on Apple Hill, or I'm sorry, on Chelsea. But if you'd like to discuss the things, are you going to come to the info session later? I won't chat about that then. But this is here. Right.
Those are big ash trees.
That's correct.
Wow. Those are the ash trees that they're saying that Bug's going to get. Those beautiful ash trees. Huge, they're ancient.
These are the old ones. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to cut them.
Yeah, there's some nice old trees in there.
Yeah.
Because there's not going. He said there's not going to be Schumer or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
The Mennonite guy that had the doors, the garage doors. That was all land owned by a veterinarian outside of
The
Boston.
yellow sign over there is roughly
chopped
the
it up.
location of a possible alternate maintenance access gate.
I can't think of that name.
This location,
They lived at the
if
top
that
of
were
the
necessary,
railroad and they owned
that's
all
roughly
that.
the location of that gate.
And then they broke it down. I know, and that ended my time.
And then you would have, you would cut a road through the orchard to access that gate?
Not necessarily.
You guys
Just along the borders. Right.
Why would you need an auxiliary gate when the Chelsea Road goes
Right.
that way, goes right to the
I know you guys made some filings about that today. I don't know if we should really get into the depths of that conversation.
The orchard here.
Right here, right now.
The gate would be where exactly? Here?
Roughly the yellow sign, which is right around here.
At the corner right there, so you'd come diagonally?
No, the proposal would be to come down one of the existing rows through the orchard trees.
That's not construction. That's maintenance.
That'd be for operations and maintenance access only if it were necessary to do so.
And you think you can do that, the truck can go through at all seasons without road?
I think it's possible.
But is that what the plan is, or is it just possible?
Are you going to be at the info session later?
Why?
Well, I'd like to check what the testimony says so I can be accurate and answer your question there.
Okay, so you can't tell me now.
Well, I would just like to verify what we filed. It's, as you know, it's a lot of pages and it's hard to keep.
So
every single
O&M, in your mind, just generally speaking, is what? Mowing the grass, coming in with the lawn mowers, or the lawn tractors, or the farm tractors?
Well, I mean, we certainly want to keep the vegetation maintained. So lawn
Okay,
mowers would be
okay. What else is included in O&M generally? Any project that you guys do?
Maintenance on the electrical equipment.
Okay.
Because you're not planting grass between the solar panels, correct? You're just going to chips and lay chips down and no grass?
Oh no, we are planting vegetation. We are seeding the array after construction.
After the chips are left there, you're going to plant grass?
I believe chipping is part of it, yes.
And then grass?
I don't know if it's
Some
exactly
kind of
grass. Yeah, vegetation.
Grass-like
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
whatever it is, crabgrass, I don't know, something that would need mowed.
Correct. We try to choose species that don't need mown a lot
Right.
because there's a maintenance cost involved with that. But from time to time, that vegetation does need to be maintained. You don't want it to get higher than the solar panels, so it starts causing shade. And you also want the project to have a nice appearance.
Oh yes, we sure did. That's true.
Any other questions here at this location?
Joe, did we get any further questions about this location?
You don't have to walk up it, but it would probably be a good idea. Where will they park when they, there's initially 30 cars and 4 large trucks starting out, and then following that are 40 cars and 8 large trucks. So where will they be able to stick all their cars?
On our property.
This property?
No, the project property.
But it has to be cut first, doesn't it?
That's correct.
So those cars coming in will be after it's been clear cut.
Right. Yeah. I mean, day one when we haven't done any clearing, there couldn't be that amount of cars. But once clearing's cleared up a portion of the property, you can get more cars on.
No,
for sure.
Just making it clear that way.
I think we should drive to Willow Road and see what that's going to look like during construction and condition stable.
You won't be able to see that. The only thing,
We can see what Willow Road looks like and imagine what it's going to be like. You don't think so?
not really.
You live on Willow Road.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to be happening there on Willow Road? You're going to come down Hewitt Drive to access?
Well, yeah. Willow Road comes up from. I think Hewitt Drive is one of the roads that it connects to.
So which road are you accessing, from East Road or Hewitt?
I think it just depends on what direction that particular vehicle's coming from.
And are they, how many a day are going to be up and down?
I don't recall the exact number off the testimony, but it could be up to, I think, around 30 vehicles a day.
And what vehicles? I mean, are they huge vehicles?
No, I mean, in most part, it's going to be, guys driving their cars to the site, or trucks to get.
And they're not going to leave them parked on Willow Road?
No.
You'll just have initially 30 private vehicles and 4 large trucks. And then
Yeah, I mean, it's a really quiet street. There's a couple daycare there. And no one let anyone know on Willow Road that's going to be the busiest part of this whole project to begin with. I mean, was there a reason no one was notified?
We've had conversations with 3 of the landowners that live right at the end of Willow Road.
You have?
Yes.
From the previous time?
I mean, this has been in process for, I think, over 4 years now, so.
Well, I know, but you just renewed everything, right? And you're gearing up again, however you want to put it.
We see that as a continuation of the earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, but there could be different property owners in 4 years.
I mean,
that's kind
I'm
of what
just
happens.
wondering, those property owners, so they're happy about this?
I couldn't tell you their personal feelings about it, no.
Because I know the ones I've talked to had no clue about this, and they are right at the bottom of Hewitt Drive.
Sure. Well, if you're in touch with them, I'd be happy to give you my contact information if they're interested in getting in touch with you.
Yeah, I would like, if you don't mind, I would like.
I don't mind at all. I have always encouraged anyone in the area to please reach out.
Okay.
Questions, concerns, issues, contact me. Don't let it, don't let it fester. Get in touch. Let's talk.
Are they coming to the meeting tonight?
I'm hoping so. They have daycare, so they're
Right.
bound at home.
Don, question. Are the A&R permits required to be in final form before CPG process is commenced to meet the presumption? Any permits that might be required, like Act 250?
there's no presumption.
There's no presumption under Act 250. They form a presumption, so they don't form a presumption.
There's no
Under-
presumption. This is 248.
So when these folks have to consider a project against the Act 250 criteria, how do they do that without the permits that?
To make independent findings on each of the criteria.
And they don't rely on A&R permits to make those findings?
They've done conditions subsequent.
Really? So how do they make the findings? They just independent of the permits?
That's what they need to do, yeah.
Huh. So A&R permits are not required, is what you're saying, prior to CPG hearings.
Under the commission proceedings, no.
Okay. All right, well, I'm
The
glad I
commission
asked you.
makes independent findings.
Okay.
All the criteria they look at.
So it's very different than 250. I was asking this question of the hearing officer. He didn't seem to understand what I was talking about. Now I know why. Oh. Is that a borehole here?
I don't know what that is.
Is that a borehole? Another borehole.
Yeah, probably.
Why are there boreholes here?
I don't know.
Are they putting a road through here?
Okay, it does seem like it was. That's why I walked
Those are
down this.
boreholes. They're auger.
Huh.
They appear to be auger sites. What's that for?
I know you just hate to see animals moved around.
Yeah, they hire their biologists to say everything's fine. Everything's fine. Animals can live on some other property.
It's all about this.
And then you go to the next property. They can live on another property.
Yeah, it's all about the money. You know, if they could get more money doing something different, they would.
Yeah.
Well, we know that. They would. So they have a different. A lot of deer here. A lot of deer droppings.
Yeah. A lot of deer ticks too.
No kidding. Well, I was telling them there's a wetland at the corner of Hewitt and Willow. I have seen. I've even seen